everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If this is your first time tuning in, my name is Marie with Modern Day Vet Podcast, where we bridge the gap between the military transitioning to the civilian sector. So one thing I want to do is in the beginning of my podcast, I want to start reminding people of the veteran crisis line that's available 24/7. And it is 988, and then you would press 1. And that's if you're dialing in. If you want to text, it is 838-255. And they have trained professionals there to handle any crisis. And it could just be if you're having a mental health breakdown, if you're having a panic attack, just anything. I would speak to them and ask for resources. And like I said, it's always available, and don't be afraid to use it. So what are we going to talk about today? Today, we're going to talk about a very important topic, and it is addressing homeless veterans. There's quite a few benefits allotted to homeless veterans. And it is said that according to the VA, I'm not sure what year this was, but it was on va.gov, 13% of adults who are homeless have served in the military. 13% is a very high percentage. 1% is a high percentage, but things happen. I understand that. And I think that we're groomed to kind of follow rules and listen and not really think for ourselves when we're in the military. So it's very important that as you're transitioning out, to kind of remind yourself that once you come out of the military, you have to do everything on your own. Things aren't spoon-fed to you anymore. The VA doesn't give you any information. You need to be willing to research that information. That possibly could be a big reason why people may be homeless. A lot of different factors factor into why you can be homeless. You could have a really bad support system. The economy could be bad as it is right now. It's not the best right now. I know we're all kind of going through it. I know I am to a minimum, but I am grateful for the things that I do have, and I do not take it for granted. All right, so back on topic of homeless veterans. So what is one of the first things that is available to homeless veterans? So each local area is different, but I want to say within the states, they might have it in every single state, as long as you're near a VA facility. You want to check to see if they have free shuttle systems that will go to a VA facility. Now, you don't have to go to the VA facility physically. You could also call. Let me give you the number. Dun, dun, dun. So the VA National Call Center for Homeless Veterans is 1-877-48-VET. So that is 1-877-424-3838. And it actually is available 24/7 to provide assistance to veterans. You can also visit any VA medical center, whether if it's a clinic or a full working hospital. You can visit them to ask for more information, and you can let them know, hey, I would like to know homeless veteran benefits. Whoever's at the front desk, you could ask them. Or if you're kind of on the verge of becoming homeless, they will provide you with a lot of different information, whether it will be grants, housing assistance, HUD, which is home, urban something. Let me check. Housing and Urban Development, which if I'm not mistaken, that kind of works hand in hand with Section 8. And then Section 8 isn't even called Section 8 anymore. It's like a choice voucher or something. I need to double check. So HUD-VASH, which is Housing and Urban Development Veterans Affairs Supporting Housing, they work hand in hand. So it's the local federal, it's federal and local that works together to find veterans housing. With that, they'll also help you with employment, because there's but so much someone could do. You also have to work and provide for yourself. And then hopefully they could help you with your disability rating as well. So that could be a form of income as well. There's grants as well that can do. So they offer transitional housing and supportive services. The aim is to help veterans achieve resident stability, increase their skills and levels of income, and obtain a greater self-determination. That's also one thing. Support services for veteran families, provide support services to very low-income veteran families, aims to prevent homelessness and promote housing stability. Really quick, before I forget, but by the time this podcast comes out, it'll probably be cooler. But I know in New York, we've already gone through our third heat wave. There is cooling facilities. So look at your news. I'm really big at watching the news now. I never was. I was always just like, the news is always negative, which it is. But I also like to be informed on what's going on. When I was in the military, I always said, if it's bad enough, we'll go to war, and they'll call me in to go to fucking war. And if it's not that bad, then they're not going to fucking call me. So I don't need to know what's going on in the world. Now, I guess since I'm older, it kind of just comes with being old. I watch the news. I read the newspaper. I kind of want to just know what's going on in the world. And it's a lot. It's ugly. But if it gets really hot out, look for cooling facilities in your area. And if you happen to stumble upon somebody homeless, let them know. Let them know these are the cooling facilities in the area. You may want to check it out if it's going to be 100 and whatever outside. And then by the time this podcast comes out, like I said, it'll be cooler outside. So there's also warming centers to keep warm, besides obviously public places they could go into. But there should always be warming centers in the areas as well, besides just being at a shelter. Hopefully shelters would provide this information as well. I'm not too sure, but hopefully shelters provide this information. If they don't, always just try to educate someone as you just run into them. I think veterans are really big on holding conversations, and I'm very grateful for that. And if you just happen to run into a veteran that's older or just doesn't have the knowledge of certain things, just educate them if you have the knowledge about it. Homeless veterans are also eligible for healthcare, especially mental health care. They are eligible for that as well. And if they have substance abuse, they're eligible for that as well. So it's Health Care for Homeless Veterans program. It provides outreach, case management, and residential treatment. So yeah, like I said, they'll give you primary care facility, mental health care, and substance use treatment, which I think is very important, especially in the homeless environments of stuff to just kind of numb the pain, pretty much, you can say. In your area, you want to look into federal and state programs on top of what the VA is offering. You also want to look out for community outreach programs, churches and ministries. I'm pretty sure it's the same thing. I don't really know. But I'm pretty sure it's the same thing. You want to look for homeless shelters. I know they're kind of full and they have a lot going on, but even if you don't want to stay at the shelter, just see if the shelter has information on the walls and stuff. For those that are blessed enough to have things, make sure you're donating as well to the shelters. Goodwill, it's a big company, and I don't know how well they're dispersing their stuff. I don't really know the whole thing. I try to donate to smaller places where I know it's going directly to the people and it's not passing through a lot of hands. It's not being sorted out, things like that. Women shelters for domestic violence, check those out as well. And see if you can donate stuff to that. I know I got a little off topic, but like I said before, I'm very grateful for what I have. I'm very blessed and I don't take things for granted. So whenever I can donate, I do donate to shelters, or if I come across a homeless person, I'll kind of ask them what they need and I'll buy it for them, or I'll buy them some food or give them money. I know a lot of people say, don't give them money because they're going to use it for drugs. Once the money is out of your hands, you can't really tell someone what to do with that money. It's no longer your money. So, but to each his own. You can give them money, you can give them food, you can give them information and knowledge. One thing I kind of wanted to do is maybe give them money with like a little, I've done goodie bags before. I haven't done them in a while because I've been busy and just overwhelmed with stuff. But I have done goodie bags where I'll get Ziploc bags and things that are either about to expire or things that I just know I'm not going to eat, or things that are in sale in the store. I'll grab it and I'll make little goodie bags. Like I'll put 8 quarters in there. I'll put a small water bottle. I'll put a Gatorade packet and some snacks. And what I would like to do is start putting little cards that say, like I said, the closest cooling facility, the closest warming facility. If they're a veteran, a phone or a hotline they could call to get information of how to improve their life or stuff like that. So things like that are important. It's very important to take care of our veterans, and none of them should be homeless. And I, knock on wood, God forbid, I don't know how you get to that situation. I don't want to know. But if we can avoid it and we can help somebody and save someone from being homeless, that should be the primary mission. So as I said before, accessing the services, you would get it through a medical facility or a clinic. So there's big VA hospitals and then there's outlining clinics. So whatever is closest to you, you could look into that. You could probably volunteer as well with those services just to kind of outreach into the community. VSOs have information with that as well. And VSOs are veteran service organizers. Local VA homeless coordinators. And on the va.gov, there actually has for each state, let me see if I could get to it. Each state has a list of the local coordinators currently, and you could look down the list and call. I'll probably leave a link under my YouTube. If you're listening to the podcast under anything else, just go to my YouTube channel and I'll leave the link under there. So one story I do have, and he actually isn't a homeless veteran. He was homeless before he joined the military. It was actually 2 boys that I was in boot camp with. I haven't heard from them, so I don't really know how they're doing, but they were actually homeless prior to joining the military. So that's another thing. I know it's not a homeless veteran, but you can also provide information to homeless people if they want to join the military. I mean, if they're healthy enough to get to that point of stuff. I know recruiters are dying for people to join, and the retainment right now in the military is not high at all. Like they're coming out with all types of bonuses, all types of bribery, because that's what it is. They're fucking bribing y'all asses to stay in because nobody wants to stay in anymore. It's also something to avoid homelessness is to join the military. They're waiving a lot of different things. I think they're waiving criminal records and stuff like that. I don't know what else they're waiving, but that's something else you could use to avoid homelessness. That's kind of like on the other side of a civilian person that just either wants to make changes or they're on the verge of being homeless. Go into a recruiting station. That's at least a minimum 4 years of safe living. And not only that, you will be provided benefits in the future afterwards, like for the rest of your life. And you would think I work for a recruiting company, a fucking commercial, but I don't. It really is. Some people like actually do join the military to avoid being homeless. So that's on the other side. That's not what homeless veterans. But if you are on the verge of being homeless and you just so happen to pop into my podcast or YouTube, you run into it because one day I become famous and I'm a millionaire. Join the military. It's made a very positive impact on me. Like growing up, I've said it in other podcasts, I was very, very rebellious. I'm still very outspoken, but I do it tactfully now. I know I can't just go off and fucking punch somebody. I have things to lose. Like I can't do that. So being in the military wasn't all rainbows and fucking mermaids or whatever the fuck the saying is. I had very rough times, but it provided me with an amazing foundation, a different mindset. Traveling, I know like the thing is you get to travel the world. Some people don't. Obviously I didn't travel the world, but I went to places. And it definitely opens your eyes to different things. So sometimes when, like I said, knock on wood, and I hope this ages well and I do well for myself, but you have to work hard. And homelessness can happen to anyone. It can. And I pray that it doesn't happen to anyone I know, to myself. But it's a possibility. The economy is not pretty right now. Who the fuck knows who's going to be our president? I don't do politics, but I think either or, we're just asked the fuck out. I don't know. Like, we don't know what the next 4 years is going to be for the next president election. Did you guys hear about the Project 2025 shit? I don't know what it is. I didn't really look into it all the way. I just keep seeing like TikToks about it. I'm going to do my own research. I did see some shit of like them trying to just decrease the disability stuff, pretty much take away I wouldn't say women's rights because I don't want to sound like a feminist, but a lot of stuff like the abortion thing, the birth control thing. So like I said, whoever becomes president, either or, we're still doomed. We just kind of have to pray about it and see what happens. Some completely off track, but I do want to do my research on the Project 25 because I don't know what the fuck that shit's all about. I think it's about Republicans or some shit like that. And I'm not going to say what I am because, to be honest, I don't even know what I am at this point. The goal is to not be homeless, pretty much. Not be homeless. The homeless programs at the VA also provide employment assistance as well. And like I said, I'm not too familiar with Section 8. I would have to do more research into that and like provide some reels and stuff. Like I said, I definitely don't think it's called Section 8 anymore. It's called, I'll tell you right now, it's like housing voucher program or something like that. And veterans do qualify for that depending on your income. Yeah, housing choice voucher program. It's not called Section 8 anymore. And they work hand in hand with the VA as well. So you kind of get like double stuff. One thing I did want to speak about, let's see if I found it. I definitely think I'm fucking yelling. And if I am, I'm sorry. One thing I did want to point out really quick for the other side of people, for landlords and people that own properties, you can also get in contact with the VA if you want to provide housing for homeless veterans. So that's definitely something I would look into. It would be a guaranteed paycheck. You're going to get the rent from Section 8 anyway and from the VA. So if you do own property, let me see if I could find it. And like I said, va.gov will give you all this information. There was a flyer on here and I thought I saved it, but I didn't. But landlord or any property owners, for one, you would be helping a veteran, and two, you would be getting guaranteed paychecks because Section 8, if I'm not mistaken, goes directly to you. But let me see. Okay, how landlords can help end homeless veterans. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to contact the VA and see how you can help support the HUD VASH, which, like I said, was Housing, Urban Development, Veteran Affairs, Supportive Housing. If they accept you, like I said, you would get your payments directly. And I think they're going to ask you to like lower your rent. Yeah, they're going to ask you to fill out a form on va.gov. And it's a landlord contact form. And it's your first name, last name, email, phone number, your website, the city and state you're from, and the type of housing that you have available. If it's a multifamily house, single family home, if it is handicap accessible. And I think the VA contacts you directly and they'll kind of put you hand in hand with any homeless veterans that are in the area, which most likely there will be. And there's also other partners. So it says if you're not a landlord with rental units but still want to help end veteran homelessness, there's other stuff you can do. Like I said, join associations. You can look at nonprofits in your area. If they're not too familiar with veteran homelessness, you can educate them if creating a business for yourself isn't one of the things you want to do. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope this puts a little dent in hoping. I hope this puts a little dent in helping end veteran homelessness. Will it end completely? No, because it's not perfect. We don't live in a peaceful world. But if you can help somebody, that could lessen the percentage tremendously, because 13% is too much. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share the content with someone if it could benefit someone, especially someone if they're on the verge of becoming homeless. That's definitely not something I want to see. And you guys have a great day.